A request to take a look at some of the A series phones with this One UI 7 update, and I wanted to go ahead and start with the A35. This is a very solid phone. You can find brand new for around 200 bucks. A lot of people like this phone, especially people who don't want to go into the used refurbished marketplace. You may not want an old flagship. This is a solid phone. I think the One UI 7 update did this phone like a lot of justice, because it is very smooth now. It's much smoother than it was on One UI 6.1 with animation. So that's the first thing that I noticed now. It is running really well. So I'm really happy with the update on this phone, especially considering that this is one of the cheaper Samsung models. Now let's go ahead and just talk about the A35 just in general. And I do think that hardware wise, this is a very nice phone for 200 bucks. So it does have a plastic frame, so it doesn't feel super expensive. But the thing here is that it does have a glass back, which is nice. So it doesn't feel cheap at all, and I think it looks like a S20 4 Plus, honestly, from the back. Because if you didn't feel like these plastic sides, you really wouldn't be able to tell the difference hardware wise. So it's a very well built phone. It is only IP67 dust and water resistant, which is fine. That's not really a big deal. It is a big phone. It's on the bigger side for sure, and it is a little bit squared off as well too. But I think besides that, I think it's a pretty comfortable phone to hold and use. But yeah, I do like the overall design. There's a little kind of, I guess, indent right here that kind of comes down, which is a nice little effect here. But yeah, I do really like the overall design. I think it looks like the more expensive models. Now, of course, this is an A series phone, so it's going to have those thicker bezels, as you guys can see, which is perfectly fine. It's what you would expect in this price range. But the cool thing about these A series phones is that you don't really sacrifice display quality. This is still a very nice display. It is Samsung Super AMOLED display, so it is the older tech, but it still looks really great. You get nice, really vibrant colors on here. It's 120 hertz. It is also 1000 nits peak brightness, which honestly, it is a little bit. It's not super hard to see outdoors, but it's not one of the brighter phones, right? So you can kind of struggle a little bit to me in direct sunlight. But I think overall display is perfectly fine. It's a 6.6 inch display. It's 1080p 390 for the PPI. Like I said, colors pop. It's a very nice PPI, so everything is very sharp on here with the icons. And I don't have an issue with the panel on here at all. I think one of the things that you will notice is there's no HDR10 plus, which the average person probably won't notice that, but that is not missing. But I think just in general, I think the display is fine. Like I said, colors are nice. It's a very sharp looking screen. All the icons look really good, so I don't have a major issue with the display here. As far as One UI 7, this phone did not of course get any of the AI features like we got on the A56. It didn't get any of the kind of like magic eraser and stuff like that. It just got the basic stuff, right? So we do have our updated Gemini on here, which is nice, very useful. Then we have our circle to search, has always been on here, of course, and our new drop down menu, of course. And I think the big thing here is that everything is a lot smoother on a cheaper device. So it is almost just as smooth as, let's say, like an A56. It's almost there. Sometimes you'll notice a little bit of animation consistency, but I think in general the performance is fine. Of course, we have our new camera layout, new camera controls is here, our new app drawer with our vertical scrolling, and then we also do have our enlarged folders is on here as well. So all of the little stuff is still here on this update, which I think is fine, right? I think it's performing really well. I think the big thing here is animations look great. It's a lot smoother, because on 6.1 it was a little more jittery. I noticed just doing daily tasks. It wasn't bad, but just a little bit jittery, and something you'll notice. But I think this is working perfectly fine. So I think this One UI 7 update is great. I haven't had any battery life issues. Let's see if we have the now bar on here. Okay, so we do have our now bar, so that pops up. So we do have a 4-year pledge on the A35. We have the Exynos 1380, and what a lot of people will like about the A35 is that you still have SD card support. We also have 128 gigs and 6 gigs of RAM, I believe, on the base model. There's an 8 GB of RAM version. Gaming performance is okay. It's not, anything, you're not going to get anything crazy performance out of this thing. But this Exynos processor has been pretty decent. It's not horrible. I think coming in here playing a match of PUBG, you're not going to, like I said, be playing at crazy settings, but it can handle PUBG pretty well. It can handle Call of Duty, of course, low settings. So the processor on here is fine. I don't have any major overheating problems. But like I said, if you are someone who is into gaming, I would really, advise you to go with an older flagship. You can find an older flagship for pretty cheap these days at around the $200, $250 price point, and you'll be really happy with the performance. But like I said, this is not bad for like just a quick casual match if you're not really pressed about CPU and GPU. Just for anybody's reference point, this is like the performance you would get out of a Exynos 1380. And it's fine. It's perfectly fine. Like I said, I don't have a major issue with this processor since I got the phone. It hasn't been like super jerky and laggy. It's been pretty decent. You do have an okay camera setup. It's a a mid-range phone, so you're gonna get mid-range quality shots. It's not gonna do the best in low light. But in good lighting, you can get a decent shot out of here. It's not a bad camera. It's got a 15 megapixel standard 8 megapixel ultra wide. It's got a 5 megapixel macro camera. You can shoot in 4K 30. You also have a 13 megapixel selfie that can shoot in 4K 30 as well. And like I said, guys, performance on this camera is okay. My biggest issue is probably the colors can come off a little bit weird. Especially like some of the blacks and stuff like that. They just are just not right. Like I don't know, it just gives off kind of a weird color to me. But I think in a good lighting, you can get a decent shot out of this phone. It's not a horrible camera for a mid-range phone. And the same thing for the video. The video is pretty decent. Good dynamic range on here is fine. The video is okay. So it's not a horrible camera, as you guys can see, but it can get the job done just as a simple point and click camera. All right, let's check out these speakers, max volume. I actually really like the speakers on the A35. They sound very solid, very well balanced, a good amount of bass. These speakers sound better than on some, older flagship phones. These are like very solid speakers. This top speaker is putting in, a pretty good amount of work, even when you cover the bottom speaker. I like the speakers. I think they sound really good for a mid-range phone, so I actually have no issues with that. The fingerprint scanner on here, it's an optical one, and it does, work. It is a little slow. So you see it, you have to hold it. But to me, it's a little bit slower than other optical ones. But once you get the hang of it, it's not that bad. You can use your face unlock as well too, of course, if you want to avoid that completely. You got a 5,000 milliamp hour battery. The battery life is pretty good. I think that's a good selling point for this phone. And it has 25-watt charging. And yeah, it's of course going to be missing wireless charging, but I like the A35. I think this update has helped a lot with the animations and overall just smoothness. Is it completely like super smooth? It'll never, have little glitches here and there. Of course not, but it's a lot smoother and it's a lot more pleasing to the eyes with these new animations. So yeah, so what do you guys think? Be sure to let me know, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.